What's up, guys? It's Jesse here in the San Isabel National Forest outside Buena Vista. Now we're on public land here and we found this amazing boondocking site. This site is advantageous because there's a creek right down the hill here, about 1,000 feet. So I'm gonna go down to the creek and pan for gold. So here we are down by the creek, and I spotted this little gravel bed right here. So I'm gonna start there and see how it goes. And then if I don't find anything, I'll work my way down to this one over here on the inside curve there. Gold! Woo-wee!
What's up, guys? It's Christina and Jesse here, and we're coming to you from Buena Vista, Colorado. Buena Vista, Colorado is a little town in the middle of central Colorado, known for its access to the Arkansas River, hot springs, and its beautiful collegiate snow-capped peaks. We chose to stop here because it's a cute little town, and it was just about halfway between where we were in Telluride and where we're heading to Denver.
Initially, this place was just going to be a waypoint for us, but the town really made a positive impression. It was just very charming, amazing views, and we really liked the vibes here. So the San Isabel National Forest is loaded with boondocking sites. So we were super excited to be off-grid and do some like deep wood boondocking here. So when we first rolled in, we drove a few miles down this dirt rutted out road, and all these spots were taken. And we started to get concerned, but we were like, you know what, let's just keep going on, keep driving. The road got worse and worse. And luckily, towards the end of the road, there was one spot that hadn't been taken.
Yeah, I had a good feeling about it. And sure enough, we rounded the last corner, and the most amazing site was totally free for the picking. So our site was this beautiful open grassy area where it looked like we basically had our own meadow, and we had mountain views of these amazing 14,000 foot peaks around us. It was incredible.
I think it was our favorite boondocking site on the trip so far. There was an awesome fire pit, plenty of firewood around, and it was quiet. We couldn't see anybody else, so it really felt like we were in our own place. So the way we were able to wiggle the trailer into the site, from our main camp window, we would see the sunset among the mountains, and then on the other side of the trailer, it would just light up with pink and purples every time there was a nice sunset on the other side. So it was pretty amazing, just like looking back and forth between these two. Both sides of the sky were just lit up. The night skies were equally as spectacular. I think we each saw multiple shooting stars. Mm-hmm. The moon was really full, so it was bright. You had the moon shadows. I had to put sunscreen on, so that was pretty special too.
So the town of Buena Vista itself has a really cute little downtown, and it's filled with shops and restaurants. So we went out one afternoon and we got lunch, and we ended up going to this place called the Trailhead, which I guess they bake their own bread and do a lot of their own baking there, and we got the most amazing appetizer. I think we've mentioned that we're really big soft pretzel fans, and this place had a soft pretzel loaf that came with dipping sauces, and I think it takes the cake as the best soft pretzel we've ever had. So I'm always on the lookout for ghost towns here in Colorado because there's tons of them from the old mining days here. And Buena Vista happens to be really close to the old ghost town of St. Elmo, which is one of the biggest, most well-preserved ghost towns in the state.
I think one of the cool things about St. Elmo was they had this general store that was still operating, so you could go in and like see little antiques from the good old days. So you could argue that's not quite a ghost town because there's still business there and there's some people living there. But it was really cool to be able to go into this general store like they did back in the day and experience that. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of maintaining the structures there and making sure that everything stays very well preserved.
So when we pulled into St. Elmo, there's this huge crowd sitting on these railroad ties across from the general store. And we're like, what are all these people doing sitting over here? Come to find out, St. Elmo is also known for its really friendly chipmunk population. So you can get sunflower seeds from the general store and go across the street and feed the chipmunks. So of course, we had to partake.
Yes, animal lover over here. Any chance to get close to an animal, I'm there. So the chipmunks were so cute. They would come over and take the seeds from your hand, and if they were full and they couldn't eat anymore, they would just shove them in their cheeks, like stuff as many in their cheeks as they could. You could tell that they would like run away, dump them, and just like come back for more. They were they were cute.
There's the one really big one that was just going after you.
He was a bully. He was totally like the bully. You could tell because he was the fattest of all of them, and his cheeks were like this big, stuffed with sunflower seeds. And he would come over and he would gobble up all the seeds, and anytime like a little other chipmunk would come over, he would like look at them and they would run away.
So that was a pretty hilarious surprise, the chipmunk tourism at St. Elmo. So ever since Ouray, I'd been interested in prospecting and panning for gold. I initially had been looking around for gold pans there, and they were like antiques that were like really expensive. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just get to this another time or use a Frisbee or something. So when we pulled into town, we passed by this place that I noticed was called the Rock Dock, and they were advertising prospecting tools. And so I was like, we gotta go in here. So we went in, and there's a super helpful gentleman there that like gives the whole lowdown on panning for gold, where to look, how to do it. He even like had some gold in a pan and like swirled it around in the store to give us some tips. So I got a little gold panning kit, and once we got to our site out here by the river, I went down and tried my hand at it. And I was cautiously optimistic. You know, with all these old mines around and ghost towns, I figured there might still be some traces of gold around, and sure enough, we struck gold. We're rich. We can get a house now. We don't have to live in a trailer anymore. Just kidding, but I did find gold. I don't know what its value is. It could be enough to just get an ice cream cone or something, but it was really cool to just pull gold out of the river. And I spent about 3 hours down there just kind of relaxing and panning, and it was nice. It was like a nice experience. I could see myself getting into it as like a hobby that you'd combine with like hiking into a river or something.
So one of the things that this area is known for is its hot springs. We got a tip from our friend Nate that we should check out the Cottonwood Hot Springs here in Buena Vista.
So we really like this hot springs because it sort of had a more natural vibe compared to other hot springs we've been to. In Ouray, the hot springs are like swimming pools, more or less, and these ones were just these rock formations that they kind of built into the ground. And they also had a dock and a ladder that went into the river out back, so you could dip in the hot springs and then go back and dip in the 39-degree river water, which I absolutely loved. So the water is made up of 14 elements, and one of them is lithium. And so if you spend a lot of time in there, it'll really start to mellow you out because of the lithium content in the water. The coolest thing too is you can drink the water. Obviously you're not going to drink out of the pools themselves, but the water that's going into the pools is drinkable. So while we were camping, that's the water that we were drinking essentially.
These hot springs have been used by people for thousands of years, including the First Nations people who used to enjoy these hot springs just as we do today. Obviously, they're different now because they've built them up and put spas around them, but it's really cool to know that these are the same waters that people thousands of years ago used to soak in. People still think of these waters as sacred and come to the hot springs for their healing power.
The river water really got me into alignment. There's one gentleman who was talking about how back in the day they used to have these things called vapor caves, which were these hot springs that were in caves. And that's what the Native American people used to spend their time in as well. And unfortunately, when they put the road in near the hot springs, those caves were destroyed. And it's really unfortunate to hear that these amazing natural resources are being compromised. But it did allow us to get here, so you have to appreciate, you know, the accessibility. So it's a double-edged sword, really. So since we knew that we weren't going to be able to have fires in Denver because of the fire ban, we made the most of our time here and had a fire almost every other night. And at our second boondocking site here, we built this amazing fire pit and probably had some of the best fires we've had since we got here. We cooked over the fire, we played guitar in front of the fire. It was just amazing to have the caveman TV on full blast out here.
We also made lots of s'mores over the fire, which super cliche, but we've become pretty addicted to s'mores in recent months. So we've been really enjoying our s'mores lately, and we love to get creative with how we make them. So last night, Jesse was really craving some sort of fancy s'more dish, and we happened to have some bananas, which is another thing that we love to grill on the fire. So we decided to combine them and make a banana s'more surprise.
It was pretty good. I think we've had better banana s'more concoctions before, but it hit the spot. We've done ones with a banana and then you sort of hollow it out and then put in chocolate and peanut butter, and that's probably the best banana treat that we do on the fire. So we needed to get the bearings packed on the trailer, and we looked in Denver and all the RV guys were busy. So I was like, what about these small towns? So we found this guy in Buena Vista, the diesel dog himself, Ron, the man. This guy, he had an awesome shop. His shop had a better view than most $1 million homes in Telluride. It was so cool, and he was the nicest guy. He took us in just like on a Friday, got it done in a few hours while we were around town.
He even babysat Macy while we were gone.
He took care of the cat while we were gone, and just like a cool dude. So we really appreciated that. He mentioned how he likes that his place is hard to find because he has so much business he doesn't need to advertise. So
yeah, so sorry, Ron. I hope this doesn't get you
I
any
hope
more
this
customers.
doesn't bring you any more business. But the diesel dog of Buena Vista, cool dude. If you need trailer work, hit him up.
So from here, we're headed to Denver, where I'm excited to spend some time with my sister Lisa and my friends Heather and Tim. Really looking forward to getting some family and friend time and some time in the city.
See you guys there.
See you there.